What's up, everybody? Technically still Thursday. Ghost Call Keefe here with another live stream, all your rock and metal news in one place every week. By hook or by crook, I managed to go live tonight on Thursday, just making sure everybody can hear me okay. I don't have my typical stuff handy, so I just want to make sure everybody can hear me all right. But anywho, yeah, I'm here. I'm back. A little later than planned, but hopefully next week I get back to the regular time slot. I had some travel today. I didn't sleep too much last night. Traveled all day. I am in Joshua Tree, California, about 8 hours south of where I live in San Francisco, and I'm here to cover the Mojave experience. If you follow Ghost Cult, you've seen a lot of our stuff where we talk about that festival. We've been helping plug and promote and sponsor that festival since November, which I'm really stoked about. I am trying to get a couple of my other networks to come in. Mr. 43 US is here. What's up? There we go. Just making sure everybody is here on the talk and the gram and all the things. I think Instagram is catching up now. So let's see. All right, should be there now. Hey, what's up, everybody? Again, late night, but we're going to go through this a little quicker. I have shortened up some of this show for the sake of brevity. I didn't sleep too well. I went to the airport extra early, and that thumbnail picture is me at like the crack of sunrise at SFO Airport in San Francisco, and I flew down to Joshua Tree. I met up with Wayne Edwards of Ghost Cult, Mastiff of Muppets. What's up, mate? Jessica Juarez is here. 304 is here. Robert is here. So I flew down to Joshua Tree, got picked up by Wayne Edwards of Ghost Cult, as well as his own blog, the Flying Fiddlesticks blog, and a whole bunch of other things, Shardik Media. Wayne rules. He picked me up in Ontario, California, and drove me out here to Joshua Tree. Tomorrow night is the pre-show, pre-party, night one at Mojave Gold, which looks awesome. We drove by it today. Vicky, what's up? And then Saturday all day is the festival. It's definitely going to be a sellout. I'm really excited about this. I was telling Wayne today, the last time Wayne and I met in person, we worked together for about 5 years. And the last time I saw Wayne in person, we were covering Psycho Las Vegas together. And so, which is now defunct. So this isn't quite a Psycho Las Vegas in scope, but it's super cool that this thing is happening. Super Cool Booking is the name of Patrick Brink's booking company that founded and is putting on the Mojave experience. Desert rock, psychedelic rock, stoner doom. It's going to be incredible. I'm really excited to kind of check out Joshua Tree National Park. I took a walk earlier, so I came in. I'm in an Airbnb right near the park, right in the neighborhood, basically. And I crashed out, took a long nap. I had dinner. I took a walk. It's gorgeous out, like the stars. This part of California, other than near the main strip with the traffic lights and everything, it's just absolutely gorgeous and peaceful. Everything is very mom and pop shops and artists and things. It's still got that kind of hippie culture without any of the negativity of the hippies. So I am cool. As always, I'm feeling pretty good. As always, the best experience for this show is YouTube. You can become a member of our channel. You can buy super chats and super likes, and we'll read your comments. This comments and things will always be free. I'll drop a tip menu in a little while if you're feeling tipsy, but generally speaking, we're here building a metal community of fans, real journalism, real smart, thoughtful coverage of rock and metal bands, not clickbait, not drama, not stupid shit. So once again, feel free to watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, a bunch of YouTube channels we have, as well as I'm hanging out on the talk. What's up, Vince? What's up, Jenny? Thanks for being here. What's up, Dustin? As I'm fond of saying, this is also your show, so feel free to ask questions, jump in the chat, drop comments. There's a little thumbnail of me. We always start with the announcements. It has been a rough week. Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate you. All righty. Carla's here. Lady Foxy's here. Thanks for following, Dustin. Anybody who does follow, we will follow you back at the end of the show in most cases. So, yeah, much appreciated. We are still giving away tickets to Echo and the Bunnymen at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles. This is not for travel, but basically, if you can get to LA for the May 17th show, we still have about not quite 8 weeks until the show, which means about 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks of runway left to give away these tickets. They're doing a career-spanning set. I'm a huge fan. It's really cool. Also, stay tuned Monday. We're dropping a brand new giveaway on our Instagram that we'll be talking about here on the show next week. I think I got a little sunburn from the car ride. Tree of Hell is back. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you. Thanks for everybody with the likes and the hearts. I really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. If you want to subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on TikTok or listen to our podcast, every little bit helps. We appreciate it. But yeah, new giveaway, much more metal than Echo and the Bunnymen, much more metal. Stay tuned for that on Monday morning to all our socials. Bad news right before we went to broadcast tonight that Stevie Young of AC/DC, who is the nephew of Angus Young and the late Malcolm Young, was hospitalized in Argentina under an abundance of caution. You know, we've been talking about all these deaths and elder rock stars passing away, and obviously we lost Malcolm a while back, and Stevie's going to be fine. He does expect to play their 3 shows coming up soon in Argentina, but you know, this is probably the final hurrah for AC/DC. I know they have the big U.S. tour coming soon, and I have never seen them. It's like one of the few bands I've never seen, so I might very well want to see them at some point before they're gone. And also, right after the show on Friday last week, we lost Phil Campbell of Motorhead. Just very sad. I met him once. I photographed Motorhead 3 times. I interviewed him. I interviewed the band before. I love Motorhead. Lemmy really was an icon of rock and roll and metal. And I'm just sad. Phil Campbell, not that old, actually pretty young. I don't know if you know the story. He met Lemmy as a fan when he was 12 years old, and 14 years later, he was in Motorhead as the guitar player. And they briefly tried to do 2 guitar players, but quickly it ended up being just the one. So, absolutely wild. Also, 44 years ago today, as it's still today for a few more minutes, we lost Randy Rhoads in that terrible plane crash. I highly recommend, if you've never seen the Ozzy Behind the Music or the Into the Void Ozzy episode or the Randy Rhoads episode, you might cry a bucket of tears if you love rock music and heavy metal. Randy was incredible. He should be considered and talked about as great as Eddie Van Halen and anybody else that was his contemporary. Rhett Beach at Winger, Vito Bratta, so many. So, yeah, very sad. Randy, really a one-of-a-kind person and talent. And a little update on Jello Biafra's health condition. We told you a couple of weeks ago he suffered a stroke. He gave an update this week, or his label, Alternative Tentacles, through his Facebook page, gave an update this week where he's got a long road of recovery. He's got cognition. He's got his mind, luckily, because sometimes with a stroke you have like a big neurological crash out, and we still don't fully understand how the brain works in some cases, but Jello's having some mobility issues on the left side of his body, as does happen with a stroke, so he's going to need some time to make it back from this. I do not have a liquid death because I'm not home, but I do have Gatorade Zero because it was 101 degrees earlier today here in California, Southern California, and it's cooler now, but I went out for a walk at 8 o'clock and it was 93 degrees. So I also have a water with some electrolytes. Need to hydrate. Gotta stay hydrated. Thanks to everybody watching on Twitch and YouTube. I appreciate you all. Let's see what else. So, tip menu. Once again, if you're feeling tipsy, we appreciate it. Ghost Cult does have money we make from advertising and some sponsorships, but mostly we are a DIY enterprise. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why a music website is like a DIY band. But there's our tip menu if you're feeling tipsy, or again, come on to YouTube and give us a super chat or a super thanks or super like. All right. And then there's our Cash App if you're curious. Okay, time for some features here at Ghost Cult. This is always the big thing we talk about. I'll win big in the screen. Again, you guys on TikTok unfortunately don't get the benefit of the full experience from StreamYard that we'll talk about in a minute. But features this week at Ghost Cult include, and again, I just want to shout out Lamb of God. So we reviewed Lamb of God. I did a live stream last week where I reviewed Lamb of God. Kind of ran out of runway this week with the trip and preparing for the festival and packing and other things. I was going to do some album reviews this week. But Lamb of God dropped their new album last week, Into Oblivion, and they, what happens is publicists round up all the reviews and clip them, and then they make them into press releases and social media content and stuff like that to help continue to promote the record. And Lamb of God shouted us out in their thanks to people checking out the record, fans and press. And they quoted us. They tagged us on every social network, sometimes really surprising me where and how. We were mentioned with Loudwire and Metal Hammer and Consequence, humongous websites. Sputnik Music, which doesn't strictly do metal, but interesting. Revolver, of course, still a physical magazine and a great website. And Metal Sucks Our Peers. So really great in great company to quote us. And I'm really humbled by that. Last week, we got shared by Maynard James Keenan for the new Pussifer review and album, and now Lamb of God. Bands, if you're listening and you're watching this now or in the future, hey, what's up, Kisperia? On Facebook, we see you. Thanks for being here. Absolutely. If you have a band, if you're a publicist, if you have a label, and anybody writes about you, honestly, even if it's not a great review, you should still share it. I'll do a longer conversation about that some other time, but absolutely, if a band shares a review or writes about you or even just does news, you should try to share it and help them and dap them up. I understand for Lamb of God, even for them to shout us out is tremendous because, that just doesn't happen that much, to be honest. So I'm really grateful. Interviews this week, again, Patrick Brink of Super Cool Booking and the band Volume is the founder of the Mojave Experience. I'm going to meet him in person tomorrow night. It is now Friday in California, so tonight. And I'm really pumped for this. Great interview. Talked about the festival, what it takes to book a festival, how long in advance you have to put something together like this, all the bells and whistles that need to come together, what his vision for it is. And we're really proud to sponsor this. We're a sponsor and a media partner. I'll have a table at the festival. If you're coming through, say what's up, dap me up, and we'll have some free Ghost Cult merch you can take with you. Also, I interviewed death metal legend Lee Harrison. He is the drummer of Monstrosity, original Florida death metal. Their new album, Screams Beneath the Surface, is out now on Metal Blade. Lee is great, really insightful, really smart. If you are one, I don't do a lot of these track-by-track album breakdowns, but he was into it, and it's an absolute banger of an interview, I must say. Check it out. Also, just again, recent interviews. I got to check a huge one off my teenage bucket list, Sebastian Bach. He's on tour right now. I also talked to Todd Severin of Ripple Music for some more stoner doom, heavy metal, psych rock greatness from that label. And also the American black metal band Necrofire. Their festival, Hell's Heroes, is already underway this weekend. Very excited for them. We premiered a new song by Jacob the Horse this week. Their new album, At Least It's Almost Over, is out soon. Really great pop punk, hardcore punk band, kind of like a little bit alternative, a little bit hardcore. Super fun. And once again, we did a big written feature on Morrissey. Normally, I like the Smiths. I don't love Morrissey personally, but his new album is actually really good. And our writer, Wilsifer, wrote a big deep dive on it. So definitely maybe something you want to check out if you're a fan of the goth and the post-punk. So yeah, good times. Hi Cheryl. Hi Will by Design. You've been here before. Nice to see you guys. Appreciate you very much. La Jaroka is here. I hope I said that correctly. Raven is here. Hi Raven. All right. Moving right along. And again, I do live streams usually every week. I didn't get to do one this week. Thanks, Will. Appreciate the likes and the love, pal. I did do a deep dive review of Lamb of God, track by track style on YouTube. I'll be doing more. If you've got some things you'd like to see, we get music in advance as a press outlet to review. We have a whole team of reviewers all over the world, and we don't get to everything, but we also will take your submissions for music at submissions@ghostcultland.com if you want to send us your music to maybe review. And also, we have a podcast. This show will be a podcast. I love the new Ghost Cult podcast logo, accentuated and freshened up by Omar Cordy, our co-owner and my homie. And new Lamb of God is a straight banger. It sure is. It's definitely going to contend for the album of the year. For me, right now, it's one of the strongest records of the early year. We have a long way to go, clearly, but it rules. And the show will also be a podcast. And because I don't have enough to do, I'm also the co-host of the Glacially Musical podcast, Beer, Metal, and Swearing. We are continuing our series on Megadeth's first 4 albums. And this week we tackle So Far, So Good, So What. Should be live tomorrow on the Glacially Musical podcast, YouTube, and podcasts over the weekend. Check that out. So now it's time for the news rundown. And as always, we talk about metal festivals, and Heil Heroes already started, so I didn't really count them in, but one of these years I'd like to get out there. Honestly, if this festival, Mojave Experience, hadn't come up and I wasn't down here in Joshua Tree, I'd be in Houston for it because I want to go check it out. And one of my homies lives in Houston now, Fod, from Salted Wounds. So again, Mojave Experience this weekend, Earthless, Dead Meadow, John Garcia band playing everything from across his career. Acid King, Nick Oliveri solo, Death Acoustic, Yawning Man, Hippie Death Cult, Rubber Snake Charmers featuring Sean Wheeler, Ecstatic Vision, Howling Giant, Early Moods, who I just saw live, The Freaks, Arthur saying the Riff Killers, Baracho, Insomniac, and Soft Sun. I'm really pumped for this. It's going to be a great time. Just have to avoid heat stroke. That's my number one problem. Vans Warped Tour continues to roll out the announcement of all their dates. As soon as they have their complete lineup of all the dates, I will share that. We are hoping to cover one of those ourselves. Also, CY Fest has been the source of controversy after their booking agent, Nacho, who also has other festivals and shows that he books in the LA area, came under fire for some allegations. He denies the allegations, but people were boycotting the festival or making a big attempt to cancel them on social media, which is super interesting. Scotty from Tank Crimes is invested with several of the bands on the bill and tried to kind of inject himself into the conversation to help it, make sure it happened, and he just wasn't able to. So apparently the venues are still running the festival. The head promoter is not involved anymore as much, and it'll be interesting to see in the future what this is. I always say there's no such thing as cancel culture. It's accountability culture. And I know not everybody likes that. This is going to come up again in a couple of minutes, but it's a thing. Okay, moving right along. Piranha Pit Fest 3 is coming up soon. Macabre and Kings of Thrash, featuring ex-members of Megadeth, are your headliners. This thing looks fun. Deceased, War Machine, Malaya Rage, Pessimists. These are some hella good bands. Inferno Fest, speaking of things, Inferno Fest is week after next in Norway. We've covered it before. I'd love to get out there sometime. Norway's on the bucket list. Mayhem, Deicide, Enslaved. What a top 3 that is. Plus Old Man's Child, The Covenant, featuring Sarah Jezebel Deva, Canon Fever, Tormentor, Samael, Primordial, Incantation, and many more. Looking real good. Pelagic Fest has been announced. This is in the Netherlands in, I believe, July. The Ocean, the Kilimanjaro Dark Jazz Ensemble, Wheel, great band I interviewed before. Oh Hiroshima, A. Williams, new album coming soon. Psalm, Lost in Kiev, Predatory Void, Devil's Trade, many, 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 many great bands on that, and more to be announced. Also, this looks cool. Rage of Metalwana is coming to the Meadows in Brooklyn. Friends of ours, Reeking Aura, are on that lineup, as well as Satanas and a bunch of others. Reeking Aura has a new music out right now, too, that we shared. Sick Bay, Mutant. I wonder, it's probably not the Mutant, the DJ industrial metal artist. It's probably Mutant, the metal band, but just, curious. All right, that's all the festivals. Now let's do some concert coverage. Ghost Cult covers concerts all over. We're covering Gwar tomorrow night in Albany. We covered Gary Newman this week. We have the Amon Clock tour coming up with Death Clock and Amon Amarth, obviously. A whole bunch of stuff on the docket for Ghost Cult. We cover tours and festivals all over the world every weekend, every week. So Lamb of God on tour now, supporting Into Oblivion. They had a $15 show at the Theater of Living Arts. I remember seeing Lamb of God in a tiny club, and I can't imagine seeing them in a tiny club now and how absolutely batshit that would be. But pretty great. Korn, who had been hinting at a hiatus, has announced a European tour for this year. Interesting about this press photo they put out that does not feature Raw Diaz as a member. Don't know if it's because he's not a full member. A lot has been made about Fieldy being out of the band now for a very long time and maybe not coming back. This happened before. This has happened before with them. But yeah, Korn tour dates coming. Maybe they'll start working on some new music. Good for them. Exorder, big news this week. Exorder has parted ways with Sasha Horn, their longtime drummer of 8 years. Our homie, Corey Pierce of God Forbidden Disciples of Verity. You've seen him interviewed on the channel here, and he's also done some special fun features with us before. Corey is going to take up the drum throne on tour, which is super cool. And Skin Lab is the opening band. This kicks off in about a week and a half. So very excited. We'll be covering that tour also, I believe. Satanic Planet is doing a short tour of the USA along with some satanic revivals in Baltimore. Satanic Planet features Lucian Graves, who is the founder of the Satanic Temple in the United States. And they are playing LA, San Diego, New York City, Baltimore, and maybe some other dates TBD. But there are different openers in every city. So New York City is April 30th, I believe. We've already had somebody request to cover that, so that looks cool. Crowbar announced European dates. Huge year for Crowbar. They're on tour now with I Hate God, and they've been just killing it on tour. Crowbar, so very Confess to Nothing 2026. Tremendous job. They have some festivals and headline dates in Europe all summer, including Rockstadt Extreme Fest, Turok Fest, and Brutal Assault, and a few others. Very cool. Sick New World is coming up in Vegas. We are already approved to cover. I'm very excited about this. And they have announced some side shows. Mastodon announced a side headline gig. Vegas is a great place. I went to Sick New World 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they first appeared. We covered it a little bit. And I saw a couple of side shows that were phenomenal. Stabbing Westward and Mr. Bungle and Melvin's and Spotlights. What a show that was. But Viva Thrash Vegas has been announced at the Strat, which I didn't know they had a theater. But Norma Jean, Kitty, Tsunami, Elijah, and Roman Candle, who also have a new album coming out. So pretty baller. Kitty's got a bunch of tour dates all summer. Very excited for them. Suffocation has announced some off dates with their Cradle of Filth tour. So they have some headline dates across the U.S. Captain Rock says, I saw Mastodon 25 years ago. My brother. in metal. I saw Mastodon before Remission came out, when they were doing Call of the Mastodon and like the music that's on the Workhorse Chronicles. It was them and Total Fucking Destruction at Castle Heights in Queens. And I was like, what is happening? You could tell they were talented. And I went basically because two of the guys, Bron and Bill, were in Today is the Day. Oh, yeah, bro. I've been seeing, yeah, man, that's 20 years. That's, they've been around 25, 26 years. Still very gutted about Brett Hines dying, but excited to hear the new Mastodon record eventually coming out soon. Very excited. Paul Bearer just announced a big headline tour with Knoll, the great black and death metal band. They're going to perform all of Foundations of Burden in full for the 10th anniversary. Don't know if you're fans of the doom metal. Obviously, I'm here in Joshua Tree for a Stoner Doom and Psychedelic Rock Festival this weekend. Paul Bearer is amazing. Drain, once again, No Pressure, Haywire, and Secret World tours kicking off this weekend. Kicked off tonight, actually. Mastodon and High on Fire. That's right. And their first thing they ever did was they jammed a Melvin song. Written in the stars, my friends. Written in the stars. Mastodon's incredible. 6 Feet Under and Cataclysm have a headline tour. We know 6 Feet Under announced a new full-length album coming out soon. Also, Wormhole is on that tour. Oh, yeah, High on Fire and Sleep. Yeah, me too. I'm a huge High on Fire and Sleep fan. Sleep's one of my top 10 bands ever. High on Fire probably top 20 or 25. And I have my battle vest here. It's not out here, but it's hanging up in the other room here in the Airbnb. And the most compliments I get on my vest is my sleep patch. That's like right here where people see me. They see my dumb face and beard, and then they see my patch. You took a nap during sleep. Aw, they're not for everybody, but I love them. Howling Giant, who will be at Mojave Experience, is touring right now. So we'll see them Saturday. Very excited. Amon Clark tour coming up soon with Monomarth and Deathclaw co-headlining and Castle Rat opening. I can't imagine. You were a little stoned at the Sleep show. Wow. This looks killer. Black metal band Unmerciful is doing the Infernal Conquering tour with a handful of dates. This looks really exciting. Unsane, one of the bands from my youth, my roots in the 80s and 90s in New York City, Occupational Hazard North American headline tour next fall. So that's kicking off in September. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. Starting in San Antonio, Dallas, Louisville, St. Louis, and wrapping up on the back in Texas. So that looks kind of cool. Last week we told you about Marilyn Manson announcing 2 Antichrist Superstar retrospective shows at the Wiltern in Los Angeles, Halloween night and November 1st. Those are both completely sold out now. So I know a lot of people are, we're not happy that we covered the new Manson album, and guilty until proven innocent, as the court of public opinion goes. I'm sure he's probably got some very dark stories that are true, things he has done, but not convicted, never charged. Doesn't mean he's not a great or a bad person, but in the meantime, Marilyn Manson, Antichrist Superstar retrospective shows. I suspect he's been apparently mostly sober and performing great. And I know people who covered that whole tour with him and thought he was fantastic. Of all the things, EMF, who had a new song out not too long ago, that's right, the You're Unbelievable, those guys have announced a tour of the East Coast in Canada. It's a brief tour, starting off in Philadelphia, hitting a few cities in Canada, and then back down the East Coast. But wow. Also, once again, Crowbar, I Hate God tour dates happening soon. Fantastic. Extinction AD, who has a new single out, a couple of new songs lately, have announced a handful of tour dates. Thanks for following, Captain Rock. I'll follow you when we get off the show. Extinction AD, Dead Men Running 2026, and Amityville Music Hall, the OCNY Vets, and looks like a local show in New Jersey. So really killer. I think X Order and Skin Lab, they're opening for them on 2 of those dates. So that's kind of fun. Yo, Carlos Crowcells, my homie, just passed by. What's up, brother? Hope you're well. Once again, Sebastian Bach on tour right now. I was really stoked about that interview with him. He was really cool. I got a lot of great feedback about it from his team. So I'm always grateful. And now we're at the halfway point in the show. I will put myself back on the screen. What's up? Sudden Kieferation. What's up? Yeah, man, Baz is great. I've interviewed both Skid Row and Baz, and I don't do clickbait. We have maybe a top 25 metal news website in the world, Rock and Metal News, other things too. We've been around for 13 years. I don't do fake stories. I don't do gotcha journalism. I don't do clickbait. I try to be righteous and fair in everything I do. Not always, but I try. That's the goal. And, I try to do a real good interview with Baz, and hopefully I can get another one someday. I'm not trying to be a dick and shoot my shot at that. Just a couple of words about our affiliate partners. Let me bring you the story. Besties, let me help you out, especially if you're a dude. You need to hear about this. First of all, a lot of y'all, I'm going to be at a metal festival all weekend. And, it's boiling hot out here in Southern California. And I live in Northern California where we've been having a heat wave. And I need to tell you about Fable Beard products. Fable Beard is one of our affiliate partners. We have a link in our description where you can get $10 off your first order. All natural products. My beard is looking awesome. I never sweat with these all natural deodorants. I mistakenly brought 2 with me on my trip in my suitcase. The Musketeer and Father Time. I also have the Father Time Beard Balm. I've been using the beard butter and the shampoos and co-washes. They have colognes with the same scent profiles. They're all based on kind of role-playing game, like Dungeons & Dragons characters you could have, like the Bard and the Paladin and the Mage and the Wizard and things like that. And I can't say enough good things about them. If you use our code in the description at our link tree or in the description of these videos, we get free merch, free Fable Beard gear, and you get awesome all-natural products that keep you smelling great. Please don't come to the show already smelling bad. If you smell bad in the course of the show, I understand, but please don't smell bad the whole show. Hey, great. Just again, I want to catch up on some of these comments. Casperia, thank you so much. I'm doing fantastic. I'm on a working trip, so I'm great. Norway's amazing. I would have a great time. Yep. I love all these comments. Oh, Cassides. Like I said, I think you've been in our comments before, Casperia, and we probably, if we don't know each other, we have mutuals probably. I'm from New York City. I lived there for 33 years and then another 5 or 6 years, Boston in between, and now I've been in California. Yeah, John the Doorman's my homie. We often wear our Castle Heights shirts. I miss Kevin Castle. Yep, John's going to do something. Yeah, Kevin was great. Tom, Jackie booked many venues. Yep, Pool Bar, Underworld, Under Acme. Under Acme I went to, and the Spiral I played, my thrash and heavy metal band, Grunt. Our first show ever was, beside like a friend's party, our first club show was the Spiral. And we were supposed to go on at like 10 at night. We ended up going on at like 3 in the morning. All our friends stayed. It was like a work night, and it was the best time ever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would talk to Tom. Anybody can email me at editor@ghostcultmag.com or submissions@ghostcultmag.com, and I would always down to talk about music history and New York City history and everything. Thank you, Casperia. You rule. I appreciate all those comments. So let's see. Fable Beard, also another affiliate partner of ours, is, of course, the Lamb Goat Media Network. We're a member of, as I say, the much more hostile and mean version of Ghost Cult. Don't go in the comments. It's not for the faint of heart. But they do a great job at covering everything. I discover some news that even I don't know about, I find from them. So much respect. And then also, that's amazing. I don't know. We used to get mixed reviews. You know, we're from that scene. I'd love to see that review if you still have it. I was the co-lead singer of Grunt. I helped found the band. I wrote about half the songs. We split acrimoniously. I ended up in a later band with the guitar player of Grunt, Sammy. We were in the band called Hated BX. Many bands now called Hated, but we were the first or one of the first. And it was more like when I was fronting my band, it was more like thrash metal and heavy metal. And when I joined Hated, I was the backup guy. I was kind of a bass player and doing like a lot of Billy Biohazard gang vocals and stuff like that. And it was more like Suicidal Tendencies and Madball, that kind of flavor, or even Ice Pick, for example. And we were huge nerds for Bronx metal. I recently interviewed, I don't know if you got to see the Uptown Rumble exhibition in the Bronx done by Gio Estrella. I'm sure you know, a homie of mine, and Chucky Brown and Dr. Stephen Payne. Oh, no way. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, if you ever have a digital copy of that zine with the review of Grunt, I would love to see it. We were reviewed at Metal Maniacs and a bunch of other newspapers and zines, but we didn't make it that far, just tri-state area. We did open for Testament and Overkill and Doro and Shadows Fall and things like that. So that was fun. So Lamb Goat, when you see ads at Ghost Cult Mag on our website, that's from Lamb Goat. And then finally, just a shout out to my man, Craig Caruso of Caruso Apps. I would not be in business with a website for 14 years if not for Craig. Craig is a genius, and you can find him at Craig at Caruso Apps. And of course, I'm on StreamYard. Thanks, Casperia is able to chat with me all here on this dashboard via StreamYard. Everybody but TikTok. Hopefully this is the year, TikTok, that we get you in. But yeah, if you want to stream like we do, we also have an affiliate link with them too. All right. We're on all the things. Obviously, if some people are watching right now on Twitch, I appreciate you. Feel free to follow us. We'll follow you back. We have a newsletter we send out every week, usually not more than twice a week, on Substack. We are launching memberships. I've been saying this for a while, but we are going to do that soon. And and now it's time for the rest of the news, all the news that fits. Let's do it. Have you seen the trailer to Iron Maiden Burning Ambition, the new documentary coming out everywhere in May? Universal Pictures is putting out this documentary, and great documentary. Oh, appreciate that. I understand, Casperia. I understand. I'm super sorry, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Well, anyway, you know where to find me. Iron Maiden documentary. I'm stoked. There's a Judas Priest documentary co-directed by Sam Dunn and Tom Morello. What a good time to be a fan of heavy metal, especially the classic heavy metal bands. So yeah, I'm very excited for this deep dive 5-decade look at Iron Maiden. We got the trailer on our website if you want to see it. James Hetfield got engaged to get married underwater, as you do. I would expect him to either do that on a hunt or water skiing or motorcycling. Yeah. This is, Casperia, this is what we do. I'm the same dude I was back in the day. I'm just a little more mature, I think, and I'm better medicated, and I got a hold on myself. But I also was making music not too long ago. I started a new band last year in San Francisco, kind of hardcore punk, kind of rock. We're kind of on a little bit of a break, but hoping to bring it back. We wrote a gang of killer songs I'd love to see get finished. Ghost. I started a thing last week where I was reading my hate mail on the show. I didn't really get any terrible comments from me personally, but we talked about Ghost like last video chapter, and that Tobias Forge is taking a break, and they killed off one of the papas. And the comments are going haywire on Facebook between Christians and metalheads. Like, Ghost is not, they use satanic imagery. I don't think Tobias is personally a satanic follower, or even if he was, it's art, right? It's for art. Like, everybody, if you want to be faithful, but also you have, like Carlin used to say, George Carlin, you have a radio has two knobs. One changes the channel and the other turns it off. You don't like what you're hearing, change it. But people just exploding in the comments over religion and Ghost. Crazy shit. This is really cool. Poppy is going to be doing an audio book version of this really cool anime. I was actually, Poppy's having a huge year, big tours, um, new album, which is fire, by the way, if you haven't heard it. I'm a big fan of hers. It's not for everybody. Sort of, a little less heavy than Spirit Box, but pretty cool. Jun Ito's in Old Records. So she's doing the narration for this. This looks just absolutely amazing. Shout out to my partner. It's not that original name, Angst SF on Instagram and things. We were going to put out a single late last year, but we got kind of derailed. But I'm hoping eventually to get it back. We'll see what happens. Or we'll see. Maybe I'll see how it goes. Once again, last week we told you about the awful, stupid Live Nation settlement with the U.S. government. What a fraud. And what an absolute fraud. But worse than that, leaked emails from people who work at Live Nation were like, fans are stupid. And of course they weren't going to get anything. So again, this is how they see you. This is how they see you all. This is how they see us. They don't love us, They hate us, and they make billions of dollars, and they don't care. Trillions of dollars, actually. Sinners, I don't know if you guys watched the Academy Awards on Sunday. I was hosting karaoke and doing a movie-themed karaoke night at the bar, The Willows in San Francisco. Sinners cleaned up. They didn't win Best Picture. That was one battle after another. Also awesome. Sinners did win a tremendous amount of awards. Cinematography, screenplay for Ryan Coogler, Best Actor Michael B. Jordan, and the soundtrack by Ludwig Göransson won for Best Soundtrack. And I just want to mention that in addition to Ludwig Göransson and his wife, who do all the composing together, that soundtrack featured Buddy Guy and Saul Williams and I forget the fellow's name who's the co-star of the movie, and Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains. So Jerry Cantrell has now worked on an Oscar-winning soundtrack, which is kind of amazing. I think it's very rare for people in rock and heavy metal to do this, except for Nine Inch Nails. But most of Nine Inch Nails' soundtrack work is not rock or heavy metal until Tron, which was great. Anthrax, Charlie Benante gave an interview to the Everblack podcast in Australia. They're on tour right now in Australia, or just about to wrap it up and come home. That their new album was supposed to come out in the spring. It is now delayed to September. Definitely coming out in September. Happy birthday to this guy in September to get a new Anthrax record. Anthrax once put out a couple of records in September before. They just wanted to fix and finish a few more things. They will have a new single out in May, so that's when we'll get the big announcement. The pre-orders will go all summer. There'll probably be a handful of singles. And this is their first album in 10 years. And what Charlie was saying is, like, we didn't expect to not be having we expected to have a new record out by now. We didn't expect to not have a record at this point, So I'm still very excited for the new Anthrax. I'm a fan of Tool. So I waited 13 years for a Tool record. I can wait a few more months for an Anthrax record. You know what I'm saying? Also, Misfits is teaming up with Godzilla again for their Kaiju Club, Fiend Club collab. They did one, I think, last year, and it sold out immediately. This will probably also sell out immediately. Can't think of two more cool and iconic brands collabing together. Pretty damn fun. I can't believe I drank the whole Gatorade. Trioscapes is a progressive rock band. They have a new single out, new album coming soon. Very exciting. This is the time for all the new albums and bands in the studio for next year's records and bands getting ready to drop singles and put out new albums right now. Sabaton released a new single. They have a bunch of tours coming up and festivals. Dropkick Murphys put out a music video for their Anti-Ice song. Their new split with Haywire is out now. Love the Dropkick Murphys. One of the few bands, honestly, putting their money where their mouth is politically. And I believe they're playing the No Kings Protest Festival in New York City soon. Julian's Auctions, kind of the Sotheby's of the UK, is doing a huge auction with guitars from this guy, Kirk Hammett, and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and stage played guitars and studio used guitars by Ace Frehley and many others. There's a preview coming up on Monday. I believe some of the stuff will be promoted and shared online. I'll try to share it. There's also been a week of a lot of live stuff coming to videos. Oh yeah, sure. I love Tool so much. That would have been insane. I mean, Tool in a small club. I didn't see them until I saw them at Roseland for the end of the Undertow tour, and then I saw them again for Enema. So my first, like, I thought Roseland was like my church, basically my temple. So to me, like, that crowd was always like the litmus test for a band to come into New York City and play. Tool's one of my favorite bands. I love Maynard. He's on my bucket list. I doubt I'm ever going to get an interview with him, but I may try. So this was the week for live high pro shot video to come out. Machine Head had been sharing some videos from Resurrection Fest a couple of years ago. The whole set from Resurrection Fest is now online. Deftones at Lollapalooza, 2 shows. Lamb of God full set from their kickoff show. Harriot at KXP, and many more bands. I think a few more are on here. Exodus dropped a brand new album, Promise You. New album coming out this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. We ran our review earlier. Yeah, so good. My favorite little venue in New York City, obviously besides CB's that I went to countless times and played a few times. I got infamously screamed at by both Tommy Victor and Hilly Crystal at CBGB's. Watch one of my prong interviews for that story. New Exodus out this week. I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of all over the place as a record, to be honest, but I'm still pretty stoked. We have a review of it on our site you can check out. This is Gradients. This is a new artist on Metal Blade Records. They have a new single out. Very worth checking out. Very exciting new music. On to some goofball shit. Yeah, my favorite little venue was, besides CB's, was Bond Street Cafe. I also loved, obviously, Coney Island High, Continental, SOB's, Wetlands, although it wasn't that small. Oh, lost one of my lights. That's fine. I toss and turn. I can't sleep at night. Yeah, definitely. Some of those little clubs were the shit. And I love Bowery Electric. I'm a little sad that it's not going to be a regular venue anymore, but I'm happy for Jesse Malin to do something new with it. I worked briefly for them doing social media management because I'm a digital marketer and social media strategist by trade. Vinnie Vincent, one of the biggest chuckle fucks of all time, ex-Kiss guitarist Vinnie Vincent, is selling his unreleased album, Guitarmageddon, for $2 million. What a dumbass. Who is going to buy this thing? He was paid to make a record. He has refused to release it for 35 years, and he swears he's going to sell it to somebody. And it's not quite Martin Shkreli and Wu-Tang Clan bad, but holy shit. Rock and Metal showed up on Family Feud this week, making people angry. I don't know if you saw this or not, but they asked who are the greatest classic rock bands of all time. Beatles got the most votes, followed by the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Zeppelin, Aerosmith, Kiss, Queen, and then Metallica, of all things. Now, I will say that Metallica has definitely transcended metal into hard rock. But, like, is Metallica a classic rock band? I guess maybe to a generation of people they are. I don't know. Moving right along, Afro Man. I had to talk about this. Afro Man won his case against the police. They had raided his home, and they were suing him for defamation, and he used his freedom of speech to make a series of videos that went absolutely batshit bonkers viral. Good for him. I just saw the latest one. It's unbelievably funny and great. Afro Man, the Because I Got High, dude. Yeah, CBGB's was the best. They did have the best demos. Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure we paid $10 and we tipped the sound guy to make our live EP that didn't really get a release. We just kind of dubbed it and gave it to everybody. We should have sold it. It was so good. I wish I could find that tape. I don't think I have it anymore. Last week we told you Megadeth had the #1 record on the Billboard charts for hard rock and metal, and they received like their awards. They did a intimate show in Nashville, and then they received their awards. Megadeth's coming back out on tour. Still waiting for North American tour dates for Megadeth. Very curious, but hopefully they're going to get announced soon. Tarja Turenin, former vocalist of Nightwish and longtime solo artist, dropped a new single, announced a new album, and she's kind of dressed up here like Angelina Jolie in Maleficent. Sorry, I can't say words. I am so tired. Anyway, I can't wait to take a gummy and go to sleep. Bands in the studio right now. This is going to be like a very frequent and current thing right now. Carla Harvey and her solo project, The Violent Hour, which had recently announced a whole new lineup of players, co-produced by her husband, Charlie Benante, are working on her full-length debut after putting out her EP last year. I'm pretty excited for this. I hope at some point to interview Carla. I've met her before. She was really nice. She left Butcher Babies to kind of go solo after 15 years. And she's also the Acid Queen from Lords of Acid. Very exciting stuff. Steve Austin of Today Is the Day has finally announced his full-length outlaw country record and dropped another song from that. I'm really excited about that. We have a great interview on our YouTube with Steve Austin. Huge fan of Today Is the Day. I also interviewed Steve a while back before the pandemic. Also in the studio for the first time in, I think, since 2019, After the Burial is recording a new album. You know, they've been through the ringer as a band, and I'm just rooting for them. That's the technical progressive death metal band. I would love for them to, you know, hopefully we have a new record out sometime. Cage Fight's got a new song featuring the singer of Benediction, Killer. And then I love this. Every group chat be like this. You know, just that face. I think it's an ibex there. I'm not sure. A baby ram, maybe. Yeah, CB's was the best, man. We didn't know how good we had it till it was gone. They should have really never let it be taken down. That and Roseland, I'll be mad forever. Palladium also, I saw a little bit when I first started going to shows. And my first show at the Ritz was SOD and Anthrax. Or Anthrax and SOD, and Charlie did double duty. New Music Friday. You know what time it is. We talk about the new music you need to pick up every week, rock and metal. We do a preview every week. Usually comes out on Sunday and Monday. And then we update the post on our website with links where you can stream and buy the music, because we are trying to help our friends make it. So let's pick out something that's coming out this week that maybe we want to listen to. I usually pick something out that is not going to get us shitted on. Oh, sorry. 1 second. I usually have this ready. There we go. Cultist. I'm going to share this. Check out like one more second. All right. I guess this thing doesn't want to cooperate tonight. Well, so much for that. I was trying to share Cultist, Spiritual Atrophy, pretty great technical death metal. But anyway, let's redo the list. I will put back up the, that was a fail. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Here's the little title card. No worries. No worries. Limelight was also amazing. I played a showcase at Limelight on a Wednesday, and we brought 500 people. But yeah, no worries, Casperia. Be safe getting home wherever you are. So the new music coming out this week, some vital rock and metal releases. Abrogation, Wildershine on Massacre Records for some death metal. Aerosmith's debut album box set, the Legendary Edition, it's like $350. Don't know if you need that. Axel Rudy Pell, the great guitarist, Ghost Town on Steamhammer Records. We have an interview coming up with Axel. Bong Ra Esoteric on Debemer Morty Records. Calvada Subgenus on Adirondack Black Mass. Calm, self-titled debut. Clock Towers Genesis, self-released. Crimson Riot, Third Time's a Charm, Leg Lamp Records. Cultist, again, Spiritual Atrophy, great from what I heard right there. Sorry you couldn't hear it. Decipher, Thelema, Transcending Obscurity Records, a great label we love with a lot of death and black metal releases. Decipher, Daimler, Darkness Falls, Awakening Records. Diatribes, Degenerate, Brutal Records. Drag Shalom, From the Bloodlines of Brahm, Faithless Records. Egregore, It Echoes in the Wild for some black metal on 20 buck spin. Got a review of that up on the site. Empire of Disease, While Everything Collapses on Extreme Records. Engorgement, They Rot Beneath Our Floor on Comatose Records. Evermore, Mourn Braid, Scarlet Records. Exodus Goliath, previously discussed, on Napalm Records. That's their first album for Napalm Records after signing there 3 years ago. Flat Wounds, Chain of Command EP on Blue Grape Records for some punchy hardcore. Following the Signs, Evolve EP. Guerrilla, Loss on Century Media Records. Interesting turn for the black metal band, going, dare I say, not black metal anymore. Graufar, Via Necropolis, self-released. Gut Void, Liminal Shrines, on Profound Lore. Ignescent, Eternal on Frontiers SRL for some prog. Lord of Confusion, The Weight of Life on Morbid and Miserable Records. McCluskey, I Sure Am Getting Sick of This Bowling Alley EP on Epic Hack Records. Let's see, Necrogore, Ectoplasmic Grape Phenomenon on Awakening Records. Let's see, Persecutor, Casualties of Violence, great record. Poison the Well, Comeback, Peace in Place, Sharptone Records. I saw that band, I think, at Coney Island High. Putrid, Blastermal Nak on Awakening Records. A lot of Awakening Records releases this week. Radiant Subterfuge, The Silver, that's a psychedelic project from some death metal guys. Looking Glass Hymnal Blue on Gilead Media. Stonus, Space to Dive on Ripple Music for some doom metal. Taiketo, Closer to the Sun on Silver Lining Music for some heavy metal. Vain Valkyries, Wonders, Via Dolores, Gare et Pay on Season of Mist. And Warsenal, Endless Beginnings on Massacre Records. That is all the New Music Friday. That means we're almost at the end of the show. Let's just quickly do the mailbag. Oh, dating a guy who doesn't listen to Bayway. I hope I didn't make him pregnant. I got to give it up to Bayway for the shit posting and the tour. Oh, waiting for the E-Train. Oh, the good old days. Bayway, Killer New Jersey Hardcore, just dropped a new record. I'd like to try to get an interview with them. I talked to them a little bit about that. So normally I'm home and I have all manner of things for the mailbag, but I don't. But I'm traveling. But one thing I do have, there'll be a feature review of this product that was sent to me tomorrow on the site. This is the Zeus Arctic Vape. This is gold-plated. They have a gold-plated outer one. This is black with gold-plated on the inside. You can see like some of the tooling there. And this thing is amazing. I got into vaping. My partner vapes. I normally was like an occasional joint and a gummy enthusiast because I have a lot of sleep and anxiety issues that gummies help me with. I'm going to get wrecked on gummies at the festival at the end of the night when it cools off and I'm hydrated and I can watch the bands and just not work anymore. But this vape's been amazing. I got a full review of it on the site. At some point in the future, we'll do some video content on it later in the year. But like this is like the Rolls Royce of vaping, or the Patek Philippe of vaping. It's really great, very strong hit. I wasn't a cigarette smoker, so I just love smoking up and getting blazed and not having like a nicotine burn in the back of my throat. I know that some people, that's a plus for them. I didn't feel like this had too much of that. It's a super smart device. I'll get into it more in the review and when I eventually do a deep dive on it here. But it also sent me like a little cooling bong that goes with it. that cools the device. So like the device heats up the weed, either dab gels or, ground up cannabis or whatever. And then it heats it up. It, makes it smokable, and then it cools the unit so the hit is cleaner. Like, we're living in the future, people. I was promised jetpacks, but at least I got this really cool vape. This you can check all their stuff out at tvape.com. I'll put a link in the description to that. Also, I just wanted to show it off. I didn't really have anything else to show. I'm probably not going to buy too much merch at the festival because I'm going to be carrying around some of my equipment tomorrow, but I definitely have some more stuff back at the house to show you guys in a future week. And that's our show in a very manageable, exactly 1 hour. I seem to be pretty good at the 1 hour mark. Almost 1 a.m. on Friday morning in California. Thanks for watching. Everybody that's been on TikTok, everybody that's watched Casperia, everybody that showed up on Instagram. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Seemed like we had quite a bit of people coming through. Course Paint Records came through at one point. Ken Kaltenbach was here. Sun Don't Shine, the band, Master for Puppets, Wolf Crown, Sludge. Great, great stuff, everybody. Property of the Lost. I'm just thankful that after 13 years, people still care about us. You be safe. I am going to the Mojave Experience, which is a debut psychedelic rock and stoner doom festival here in Joshua Tree at Joshua Tree National Park. So we're going to be tomorrow night's the pre-show at the Mojave Gold Club, and then Saturday's the all-day festival. We are a sponsor of the festival. We've only sponsored a handful of festivals in the past, but I'm really pumped to be part of this one. And I'll bring you all the coverage soon. Me and my partner, Wayne Edwards, who's going to cover it with me here. And he's here from the Midwest, and I came down from NorCal. Thanks so much. As I say every week at this juncture of the show, it's a tough time in the world. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay as metal as humanly possible. And I'm going to bop it out on the way out with the outro music. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Have a great weekend. Peace.